Congratulations if you made it to the stage. This is section 6 and section 7 for the JavaScript for backend developer. Today we're going to be looking at the terminal. I want to learn how to absolutely use the terminal. The terminal or the command line, as the case may be. The command line is actually the one you have on your Windows system, while the terminal is also the one you have on your Mac system. But most times these words are actually used interchangeably depending on where you're coming from. So what we're going to be learning is how we can navigate through the command line, how we can move from one directory, from one location to the other, how we can create file, how we can be able to access what we have in a particular directory. And I believe everyone taking this course has a basic knowledge of computer, so we should know what directory means. Directory means the location on our systems. So how do we locate a particular point on our systems? How are we able to get a particular file from our system? Or are we going to get a particular folder from our system? That's what we're going to be looking at. So to get started, if you're using a window, you just press your window key and type cmd, then enter. And this brings us the command prompt. And if you are on Mac, you can use the command space. Yeah, the command space. And it's just going to, then you can type in terminal, then you hit enter. And then it's going to pop out the terminal for you if you're using Mac. And what you're going to be having on Mac is also going to be very similar to this. And some of the commands that we're going to be writing is quite similar, just for just a few of them, which I'm going to be making emphasis on. Now we can see the location where we are now. We are on C, user, and PC. That's the location where we are on our CMD. If you look at that, you see we are on a particular location. So we can move from one location to another, which means change directory. We can change our directory, we can move into another location, and we can move from one location. So to change directory, you use CD. Now the dot means that we want to take some step backward. As you can see, I just used CD dot, and we are taking a step backward. Now we are on user. I want to go back to C now. I'm going to use CD dot again. And right now I'm on C. So that's the first command you are learning. To move backward, you use your CD dot, then you take a step backward. That is how you do that. So we are on C. Our location is on C. Right now on C, we can actually locate this. If we open up our file explorer, you can open up your file explorer even when you're on a Mac or whatever operating system. You can see this is where we actually are on C. As you can see, these are the directory. This is what we find that is on C. We have the all nodes, the inter, the JS, the prof logs, and every other stuff are all here. The user, the Windows, and the XAMPP. That is what is found on the C. So this is where we actually are on our terminal, but we're not seeing all this folder. How then do we then see those folders or directory? So to see those directories, you're just going to write dir, which means directory. And it's just going to list out everything that you have in that directory. Now, if you're on Mac, you're going to use LX. LX, type instead of dir, you type in LX. So when you type in LX, it's just going to open this, and you can actually access each of the directories. So the directory, all the you can see those folders we actually seeing on that file explorer is also here. This is what we are seeing. So we're on the same spot with this. So this is exactly where we are. And as you can see, the date it was created, the time, and so on and so forth. All the information you need to know about it is there, right? Okay, quite very simple. And also, now that we have that, we can decide to, clear off what we have. You just use CLS, enter. And once you type in CLS, type enter. Any command you type, make sure you type the enter, you hit the return key or the enter key as the case may be. So you can see we've cleared off the terminal. So we can then type in whatever I want to bring in, and then bring in some command. And this time we would like to move from one directory to the other. So we are on C, and maybe we want to move into a certain directory that is located in C. In other words, a certain folder that is located in C. So let's take a look at it. We have all nodes, right? So we want to move to all nodes, for example. We'll do CD, then we'll type the name of that directory, all nodes. Make sure that it's spelled well, and make sure, because it's case sensitive. So once you do that, CD all node, then you hit enter. As you can see, it takes you straight to that point now. Now we are on all nodes. that is the location we are. If you open the all nodes from your file explorer, you find that these are what you can find on the all nodes. And we can do that with our terminal or by using dir, and you will see everything that is found there. As I said before now, if your Mac, instead of using dir means directory, you use ls, which actually means listing, something like that. I think it's listing in uh, in Mac. So this is it. This is a directory where we are now. Okay, you can see all the files, all the folders, sorry, that we are in that directory. It's still the same thing that we had in here. So we can decide to move into one directory, from one directory to the other, from the other directory to the other. So this is what we want to do to be able to navigate. So the purpose of taking you through this is to find your way easy through this. So I can do dir. Okay, I think make directory. I want to make a directory. That's what I want to do. Now to make a directory, you said mkdir, which means make directory. And the name of my directory is this Goda. That's what I want to call it. So this Goda. So I just make a directory called this Goda, right? You also use the same command in Mac. So you make a directory. So we have made a directory now. So let's see if that directory actually exists. So to see that directory, of course, we're just going to use dir, or we go to our file explorer. As you can see, this is it. We're going to locate that the one we just created now. So as you can see that, check out this here on our file explorer. You move down, I think. Okay, that is it over there. This folder. Can you see that? So we've created that, and there is nothing on that directory. So that means from your terminal, you can actually create a folder. That's what it means. But we don't call it folder, we actually call it directory. So we create a folder from here. So you say make directory, and you are able to make a directory, then give you the directory name. So we can move into that directory. The directory is, what was it called? It's called the folder here. So we can move into that. As you can see, that is it, this folder. You can see it down beneath. Okay, so we can make our command and move into that, and we can remove the directory as well. So to remove the directory, you say rmdir, which means remove directory. So we want to remove a certain directory. Now I want to remove a directory, the directory we just created, which is this folder. So make sure that it's actually the same name, right? And it's case sensitive. So this folder, and boom, what it's going to do is just going to remove it. That means it has deleted it from there. And if we try to check that again by doing dir, we'll just notice that that file is already, that directory is already gone. And if you try to check again here, you see that it has already been removed. So I want to sound a little bit of warning here. If you have some files or some folders inside a directory, you may not be able to take it off from your command line. So you have to explicitly do that on your file explorer. And that is actually for security purpose. Okay, so you don't do that directly from this. So you go to your file explorer to actually do that. So what we want to do now, we want to cd into all nodes again. So it can be into the all nodes folder directory as the case may be. So we are in all nodes now. So we can quickly check cd again into something that doesn't exist, Sylvester. So you can see I'm trying to move into a directory that wasn't created in all nodes. I can see this is all nodes. We can see all the directories that I do. There's no directory called Sylvester. So anytime you try to move into a directory, that doesn't exist, you're going to get that error, right? So as you can see, there is no directory called Sylvester, and that is why we are getting that error. So make sure that you are in the right directory. So I want to remove a particular directory. What directory will I like to remove now? Let me see. All the files here are very important. So I don't think I'll be able to remove anything yet. The folders are extremely very important. So I will not want to remove anything. So let's assume I want to make a directory again. So I'm going to say make directory. And so the next thing I'll do, I'll just think of a name. So I call this something STH. So if you check out that now on our directory dir, you use the dir on the terminal, you're going to find that directory that I just created, or ls on your Mac. You're going to see that something STH, right? So I'm just repeating ourselves just for the sake of understanding. Then can I decide to remove the directory, and the directory I want to remove is the one I just created, SNT. So I've done this before, just repeating it so that we can get used to it, and it will remove that up. So you can check that up on your terminal, and you find out that there is no longer STH again. So this is how you remove your directory using mrtir to remove the directory. Okay. So we also have some other stuff. In Mac, you can do touch, then you create a file directly if you are in Mac. But you can't do that on Windows. You can't create a file from your terminal on the window. You can't do that on a window, but you can do that on a Mac. You just use the word touch, then the name of the file that you want to create, and boom, it will create it for you. But in Windows system, we can't do that. So some of the difference between the Windows system and this, in the Windows system, you want to see all the directories, what you have in the directory, you're going to use ls. But for here, you're going to use the other way around. So I'm just going to quickly open up a new, just want to open up a new folder here quickly so we can actually start something. Okay. Okay, now that we have, I just opened up a terminal, our test editor, sorry. I want to also show you that what we'll be doing on the command line, we can also do it on the test editor. So on the test editor, there is a place that is called the terminal. So you can open up the terminal. You can see that terminal. So you can do that, or you can use Control Shift back it. So that's the terminal. Exactly what we've been writing in the command line, we can also do it here because the VS Code actually has a prompt. It comes with PowerShells. A PowerShell is actually from Microsoft, right? And sometimes one thing I noticed is that there are some commands that the PowerShells will not allow you to do. Maybe we want to modify a particular folder. So sometimes it doesn't allow you to do that. So you can use other command. So all the things we've been doing before, cd, dot, make directory, everything. You can say, I want to make a directory because I'm on PowerShell and it's showing that error. So sometimes there is a limitation there. So you can use what is called the git batch, or you use the command line. So there are options for it. So instead of using the PowerShells, you can also try the command line. So you want to check the different, terminals that you have. You have the git batch, you have the terminal. Because I have already, sorry, you have the git batch. I have git batch actually installed on my system. So what it means is that there are different command line that you can use. If you want to use the one that comes from the window directly, you can use it, right? And it's embedded in here. So if you click on this PowerShell, you can see PowerShell, they click on this plus. You're just going to see, then move on that, move it up, and you see that arrow beneath it. Right here are different terminals that are open. So I just want to close those terminals. So to check out, you see that when you hit that down arrow key, you can see the git batch, the command prompt. These are the different terminals that we have. You can use any of them. I have git batch already installed on my system. You may not have it installed on your system because that's going to be the next thing we're going to be doing, which is version control, which is git. So you may not have it. So this is it opened on my system. Everything, the same thing that I've been writing on the command line prompt, I can also do it here, though it looks a little bit unfamiliar to you, but it's actually the same thing. So if you look at, if you don't want to use this and you say, oh, it's like I'm very used to that command line that you introduced us to, sir, I think I will just have to stick to the command line. So you can still open up the command line.